All right, just going to do a quick gear video, which I've really never done. I think I've shown my gear the odd time to people and on video. But what I wanted to talk about was the differences in gear from the first time I went out on the Pacific Crest Trail to what I'm using now. And the biggest reason for the change was weight, frankly. And I thought might show what I'm using now compared to what I was using and the weight difference. So I'll start with the sleeping bags. I went from a Mountain Equipment Co-op Draco -9 degree sleeping bag to a Sierra Designs 20 degree quilt. Now I did find that the quilt keeps me warm enough. It's not a winter sleep system by any means, but there is a bit of a weight difference, of course. And I still use the MEC sleeping bag for car camping and for cooler weather camping. And although they're not actually in their pack containers, I have them in their loose containers right now. I'm going to show you what they look like here shortly, and you can see the difference. And then also I'm going to show you my packs. And I went from a Deuter 65+10 Air Contact Light, which I really like. It's a very comfortable pack. I'm going to have to change the sun here a little bit so you can see me better. And I went to a Z-Packs Ultra 60, very light pack. Still really comfortable, but the Deuter is a little more comfortable. My tent, I went from a North Trail tent. I don't even think they make them anymore. That tent I've had probably 25 years. Uses a pole system. And like has its own tent poles. I still use that car camping. I like it. It's got extra room. But for the backpacking, I went to Sierra Designs. I have to read here. High Route 1, and that one is very, very light. I really like that tent. Here's the weights. I'm going to read for you. So the Sierra Designs tent is just under 2 pounds, 1 pound 15 ounces. The North Trail tent's 5 pounds. The backpacks, I went from the Deuter, which was 5 pounds 2.5 ounces. It seems lighter than that, but that's what the specs say it is. The Z-Packs is 20 ounces, so 1 pound 4 ounces, extremely light. And then the sleeping bag was a 2 pound 14 ounces, so just under 3 pounds. And I went to a 1 pound 11 ounce quilt. So in total, I've saved right around 8 pounds. And I know, so on my first stint on the trail, I weighed my pack with everything, food, water. I was close to 40 pounds. And then I re-weighed with the new system and a few other minor changes, and I'm under 30 pounds with water and food. So I can really feel it, of course. 8 pounds makes a big difference. Okay, so here are the two tents that I just told you about. You can see, obviously, the size difference. And when you lift them, you really notice the difference on the tents. Backpacks, there's the difference there. And I realized, so 65+10, that's more than I need. And the problem sometimes with a backpack is you fill it. So I'm better now with the Z-Packs at being a little more strategic about the weight and what I carry and where I put it. But I sure like that one. and I'm glad I got it. And then here's the sleeping bag on the right and the quilt on the left. They're not in their pack, compressed bags, of course. But I actually, on the Sierra Designs, I stuff my backpack. I don't put it in its own stuff sack. I just put it at the bottom loose. And so far I've liked that, being able to do that. That way it conforms inside the pack to whatever else I put in there. And I put it at the bottom, so it makes it easy to put stuff on top of and then compress the actual quilt. And there's a quick video on my changes from a few years back. So just had a thunderstorm go by. So I'm in a little place called Samaria, which is a few miles from Malad City, Idaho, which is south of Pocatello and on the way to Salt Lake City. And so what this place is a farm, and they have cows and sheep. They grow oats and alfalfa. They've got about 60 head of cows. You can see maybe some of them over there. And what they've done is they've set up this really neat campground with little cabins, some trailers, small older trailers. This is my tent site. That's not the tent I take with me on the trail. But look at the playground here. Like, if you've got kids, this is a pretty cool place. An old tractor, I'm not sure of the vintage. He has a museum. Shayna is the person that I was dealing with, but Luke is kind of the local historian, and he's put a little museum together with these little cabins. Can't see them all here. I'll see if we can get more of them in the picture. And in behind the trees over there, there is a house that Marie and Donnie Osmond's mother was born in. She's from Samaria. So that's kind of a cool little bit of information. So you can see my setup for car camping with my new awning, which I was trying to set up in the wind. That was an adventure in itself right there. A couple of horses. I like staying at farms. I've done this a couple of times when I'm hiking, but this is the first time driving, and I found this place on a website called Hip Camp. It's kind of like a bed and breakfast for tenting and camping. I'm going to use it more and more often. You never see these places otherwise. So, unless it's word of mouth. They've done a really, really nice job here of accommodating the campers. And there's some sheep. I also saw a cat. There's what's a farm without a cat? And there's a dog here too. Oh. Sorry guys, I don't have food for you. Beautiful evening. It's really warm here. These water pumps work. Fresh water from a well. And here's an example of one of the trailers you can rent. So if you go to Crazy Cow Adventures, or you look them up on Hip Camp, you can see all of the options you have if you come here. There's another little trailer. I didn't think about renting one of those, but because I have my tent. And I booked quite late, actually, like earlier this afternoon. And Shayna accommodated me very nicely. I'm the only person here that's staying, so I've got the whole place to myself. And it was just super nice of her to make things ready for me. And then when you get here, like, there's a working washroom, there's a working shower with a towel and soap, shampoo. She gave me chocolate bar and marshmallows and graham wafers so I could make s'mores. Even I'm not having a fire, but I might just have cold s'mores. I'll figure it out. And this ice cream building, this was Marie Osmond's mother's place. She went in, they were so poor, she went into business making and selling ice cream, and then got so busy she had to have her own place. And they have a Welsh kitchen here, and the local ladies will make items here. Apparently, according to Shayna, this is the largest expat Welsh community outside of Wales. So, lots of history. The one building over here was put up, and I'll show it to you in a second. It's just behind the playground. They've moved it from its original place, about 3 miles away, but they moved it in one piece, and that little cabin was built in 1862. So, tons of history here. I'd stay here again for sure, and I haven't even stayed one night yet. But this is all part of traveling.